Hi guys and Happy New Year. Yes, it is almost the end of January and yes, that is the first time I can wish you Happy New Year this year. Long story short, I went back to the UK to spend Christmas and New Year with my family. And then on the return flight to Korea, I was lucky enough to either get food poisoning or a stomach bug because I was throwing my guts up for a while. So yeah, Happy New Year. Hopefully your year started off much better than mine did. With that being said, it has been a while since I last sat in front of you and spoke to a camera. I will try my best to not come across as awkward, but honestly, it is part of my personality, I fear. So today's topic, slavery.
Today's subject, slavery.
No, today's topic is honorifics in K-pop. So honorifics are part of Korean language rules. And so as an integral part of the Korean language, you will also hear them a lot in K-pop when you're watching behind the scenes of your favorite K-pop artists. Basically, they tell you who's older, who's in charge, who is more superior, who debuted first, and basically how much respect you're required to give to certain people at all times. So your main characters, essentially the Avengers of confusing international fans, are Oppa, Unnie, Noona, and Hyung. And if you accidentally use the wrong one, not to be dramatic or anything, but you might as well just kiss your entire social life goodbye. And this is only about who debuted first. So you will hear this a lot in K-pop when younger groups are addressing older groups and vice versa. Basically, who appeared on a music show in Korea first is all these come down to. And then you also have she and nim. These are formal ways of addressing somebody. I feel like you can think of these as Mr/Mrs. Jungkook calls Jimin Jimin-shi. I feel like it's just like a little joke between those two.
지민 씨?
But in general, K-pop idols can use these if they want to appear more polite. Every K-pop group I've noticed is different. Some K-pop groups will hold on to these honorifics till the end of time. And then other groups, they tend to drop these honorifics really fast. Or instead of addressing each other as she or nim, a lot of the times you will see K-pop groups just using either Hyung or Unnie to address the older members of the group because that's still more respectful than just using their name, but it kind of implies more of a close bond with somebody. For example, like I wouldn't call somebody Oppa unless they were very, very close to me. Honestly, okay, Oppa's a bad example, I think. The connotations with that are a little bit weird sometimes, so imagine I'm a man. Not too difficult, I know. Imagine I'm a guy and I wanted to address my older member in my K-pop group who I'm also really close to. I would probably call them Hyung. I think it just depends on the group themselves and what they've all mutually agreed on addressing each other as. But if they're filming on a reality TV show or when they're doing public promotions of their albums and stuff, they will use more honorifics versus when they're just speaking to their fans. Which is a nice segue into my next topic, international fans and the lack of understanding or the confusion around honorifics. And this is where things get a little spicy. Okay, so I realized that up until this point, I have used Jungkook as an example. What can I say? I'm still his #1 fan at heart, so I'm using the example, sue me. So I feel most people have probably seen this clip of Jungkook from a few years back. Okay, so my camera died on me during that, which was really rude. I feel like my camera was just like, please, for the love of God, stop talking about Jungkook. Understand. As I was saying, most people I think have seen this clip of Jungkook from a few years back. A fan was calling him Oppa when she was clearly much older than he was. I feel people have differing opinions on this, so please let me know what you think. I do live in Korea and I do speak the Korean language on a daily basis. For me, hearing people who are older purposefully address people who are younger than them in a formal way just sounds unnatural. It just sounds weird. Oppa As I said, it has weird connotations to it. To address someone as Oppa, that can also be you're addressing your significant other. I'm not saying that this is like the end of the world. I'm just saying that I find it a little bit cringy to watch. That's all, okay? Don't sue me. Not quite as cringy as this next video that I came across recently. I've never seen this one before. I don't know how long ago this clip was.
안녕. 네,
초등학생이라며.
어?
초등학생이라며.
맞아, 초등학생이야.
근데 안녕?
On deeper reflection, actually, I find these equally cringy. Now that I've thought about it, I went to argue my point, and now that I really think about it, no, these are on equal levels for me. As a younger person, a younger Korean person, you know that you have to address people older than you formally. It's just a given within Korean that you address those older than you in a formal way. But this fan really thought that she could address this idol in an informal way, despite them being much younger than them. Like, she says she's an elementary school student. You can't really give this person the excuse of, oh, they don't know any better because they're international or whatever and they just heard the term and were just throwing it around randomly. This is a Korean speaking person, a Korean fan, and if you know the Korean language and you use it on a daily basis, you know this isn't acceptable, so you don't have that excuse, you know? I do think that this lack of using honorifics with idols stems from the fact that the fans want to feel close to the idols, because obviously if you drop honorifics with somebody, that implies that you are close with them, as I mentioned earlier. So if you are addressing your idol as Oppa, that implies that you have a very close bond with each other, which I feel like just stems back into the whole overarching issue of parasocial relationships, because the idol doesn't know you, and yet you're addressing them in a way that implies closeness. So that's just inherently kind of creepy in my opinion. I've also seen fans call idols Sunbae-nim, despite not being in the K-pop industry themselves. As I said, I think it's well-intentioned. I don't think that the fans have any form of like bad intention behind it. They're either misinformed or they're doing it out of wanting to feel closer to their idols, but they don't realize that it's just causing so much secondhand embarrassment. There have also been controversies around honorifics within the K-pop industry amongst K-pop groups themselves. You know, on camera there'll be an idol who accidentally drops honorifics or speaks informally to somebody, and then there'll be entire Reddit threads created about them of people being like, oh my god, they disrespected their elder, throw them in the fire. That idol might have just had a single slip of the tongue, but everybody just reacts like it's the end of the world. There's this famous clip too of Bangtan talking about some K-pop idol group who didn't greet them, and implies how disrespectful basically the younger groups act these days towards their Sunbaes.
Greeting someone is not considered as basic manners, because you know, if you see someone walk by and then you know you say hi, you go, oh 안녕하세요, but then if they don't reply back, is allowed to do that, just not care.
But at the end of the day, honorifics do actually matter. They tell you who's close, who's awkward, who was scared of who when they first debuted, and who is respectful and polite enough to not drop honorifics on day one. So yeah, honorifics in K-pop are complicated, meaningful, chaotic, and occasionally cursed. But I think understanding them makes the entire industry just that more fun to watch. For me personally. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know which honorific confused you the most. And please, for the love of all things holy, stop calling younger male idols Oppa. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. which will not be a month from now, I promise. Bye, guys.